You are now watching The Queen Chioma. So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is sponsored by Wig Encounters. On your screen, I have a timestamp if you want to skip this tutorial, but if you want to see how I got this look, please stay tuned for the rest of this video. So starting off, they did send me their 22-inch kinky curly lace wig. This is 150% density. It's in the color natural black and it is Indian hair. So looking at the wig, it is beautiful. It is lovely. I love the curl pattern and I think the wig is actually very good, very nice, very easy to work with. And I'm just going to show you guys how I customized the wig. So the knots did come pre-bleached, but I wanted to lighten them just a little bit more. So I needed to get a mixing bowl as well as the utensils to spread the mixture. So I'm taking the Colada colors and blue toning powder as well as the bleaching powder. I'm pouring that into a bowl. I'm also using the Clairol Pure White 30 volume developer. I add that into my bowl as well and I mix it up and I start to apply it to the wig. So when I do apply this to the wig, I'm actually just going to lightly do this so that it doesn't seep through the lace. Because it is already bleached, I didn't want to leave it on for too long because you don't want to over bleach the knots and then you're going to have a weird look. So I put some foil over it just to make sure that it's processing, and I only set it for 10 minutes because like I said, the knots already did come bleached. I just wanted to lighten them a little bit more because I knew that it had to fit my skin tone. So after that was done, it was time to wash out the mixture. After letting it sit for 10 minutes, I used a neutralizing shampoo because I feel like this just stops all the processing and makes sure that the hair doesn't over process. So I just spread that all over the mixture and I just thoroughly coat that and wash it out with some warm water. So with doing this, you just want to make sure that everything comes off because what you don't want to do is have some leftover mixture and it keeps processing after you've already washed off your hair. So I finished the same step for the rest of the hair and washed the hair thoroughly, and then I finished with that. So after letting the hair dry just a little bit, or at least letting the lace dry, it's time to actually tint the lace. So I just get a bowl and fill it with some water. It does not matter the temperature. So I'm taking this semi-permanent hair dye in the color Cinnamon by Kiss, and I'm going to be pouring that into my bowl of water. So I put a little bit in there. You don't have to do too much. It will take, but if you want the color to be more saturated, then you need to add more color. If you want it to be less, then have it diluted with water. So I'm taking the wig unit. As you can see, the knots are lighter, and I'm just dropping that in there so that the lace color is tinted to like a medium brown color so that it matches nicely with my skin color. When we put it on my skin, it can just blend in seamlessly. So when that is done sitting for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I take it out. And as you can see, the knots and the lace on the wig look very, very natural. When you put your scalp or your hand underneath there, it looks just like scalp. So moving forward, here is the wig. And I just decided to section off the back of the hair versus the frontal part of the hair. This wig did go from ear to ear and it was parted 4 inches deep. So I'm taking a pair of tweezers and I'm going behind the hairline and I'm just tweezing. Usually I would section off a little small part, but after doing some research, they say just tweeze from behind the hairline. That way you can make it look not as bulky in the front. Moving on, I'm going to be using a spray bottle full of water to just activate those curls and give our curls that bouncy, hydrated, wet look. So I just coat the hair. After you tweeze, it's going to get a little bit frizzy. So I coat the hair with water because water is curly hair's best friend. And I just comb through to activate those curls. So this is what it looked like when all the hair was pushed back. The hair is super pretty and I love the curl pattern. And the wig was just looking so perfect. The curls were so beautiful. Like when it was all pushed back, I thought the wig looked very natural and I hadn't even put it on yet. So here is the front of the wig. I'm just going to show you guys how I create the baby hairs. So I pull out just a front section of the hair, preferably the part that you would section off when you tweeze. I'm going to be taking some mousse and pushing that side back. That way I can section off the front of the hair versus what I'm going to cut into the baby hairs. So I just take some scissors, and the shorter you cut the baby hairs, the more natural. So that's the look I'm going for. So as you can see, I really improved on my stocking cap method. That thing is blended. It's making me look like I have a forehead that is bigger than the state of Texas. And I just put the wig on and I start to slide it back. And now I'm cutting off the ear tabs. So you're just cutting off the section around your ear. Do this very gently. Make sure that you get it. And don't cut too much. Just do it very slowly so that you don't do too much. And make sure you do the same thing to the other side. So now it's time to apply the wig, and I'm using the Got To Be Glued in the black bottle, and I find this is very, very good for a temporary use because I actually had feed-in braids underneath this wig and I didn't want to like damage my feed-in braids. So I put this on just for temporary use, blow dried it so that it can get nice and hot and tacky, and I just went ahead and placed the wig over that section that was tacky. I held the wig down so that it can just melt in and did the same thing to both sides. So off camera, I created a part, even though I'm not gonna use it at the end, and I started to just gel down my baby hairs and do them in my style. Now, baby hairs are subjective. You can do them, you cannot do them. I like the look of baby hairs because my forehead is big, so I like to use something to cover up my forehead. So this was like pretty much the final look before any type of styling, and I think it looked very nice. I wanted to work on maybe the lace color just a little bit better, but the wig was on and very snug. And then here is the final look after I styled my hair and put it up again and put makeup on, and the hair is so beautiful. So I'll have everything that is needed to know about this hair down below, so make sure you guys check out Wig Encounters, and let's get right into this video. So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So today's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video.
Nigga, pay attention.
So by today's title, we're going to be talking about wearing designer items and pretty much just fashion as it relates to this younger generation. So this video stems from a post that went viral from Kayla Nicole TV, who is another YouTuber who is hilarious, and I really do think she's a funny girl. And she posted a picture of her outfit, and people were going on with this huge debate, basically deciding if her outfit was cute or ugly. So within this picture, you can actually see that she's wearing designer items. And I think what I want to touch on the most is how this younger generation, for whatever reason, has now taken it to the point where someone could wear something that is a designer item. So high-end designers such as Louis Vuitton, Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel. And because it is that, and because it comes with that name, and because it comes with that price, all of a sudden it's deemed as fashionable, when a lot of these outfits are either ugly or they're just not fashion, or they're things that are so basic that you can get anywhere else. So I just want to talk about how this generation reacts to having these high-end designer items and just how impressionable designer items are on this younger generation. So let's get right into this video. So I'm not breaking this video down into talking points because honestly I'm just doing this off the dome. I just thought about it. But because this generation is so impressionable and we believe everything we see, and that's even people like myself. Some people may look at me as like woke or aware or whatever, but I still tend to fall into some of the things I see on the internet and believe that it's trendy. We get our fashion trends from influencers more than anything nowadays. No one necessarily goes and sits front row at a fashion show. No one necessarily is tuned in with these high-end designers. Nobody really even goes shopping at a mall for clothes. We get everything online, and when we don't shop online, we're usually buying clothes that are designer that we have to go and get in the store. I feel like this younger generation are very much influenced by a lot of the younger rappers and influencers that promote designer wear. I don't think every designer is ugly, but I feel like a basic white t-shirt that costs $300 that says Gucci on it is no different than one that you could get from Calvin Klein at the mall. I feel like it has an overall negative impact because people start to see things that are so basic that are literally made in China, just like everything else, as higher than the other. And then even when you're not wearing those things, you're kind of seen as a lame, or you're deemed unfashionable, or you're deemed as someone who is not trendy for not having certain pieces. And I know this has been going on for a long time, but I feel like now, because there's so many ways to make money and a lot of young people are coming into money through social media, it's being perpetuated a lot deeper with everyday average people. Let's be real, some of these influencers are normal people like you or I who started off making videos or taking pictures that just so happen to go viral, and now they're able to afford things that celebrities who actually have reputable careers in acting or music, singing or dancing or being an athlete, and now that they can afford those things, it's like, okay, well, I'm up here and everyone else is beneath me. So there is a class issue that plays into this, and it's hard because as a young person or as anybody, you want to be trendy, you want to be down, you want to seem like you fit in. Even for those who are unique and want to stand out, you still want to fit in when it comes to certain things. And designer items on people have driven us younger people to be very classist and very much bullies to other people who either can't afford or just don't prefer designer items. So just for comparison, as much as I think red bottoms are technically a basic shoe, I personally just wouldn't want to spend my money on it, but if I could afford it, I would get it if the quality is that much better than a basic black shoe. Taking a black solid pair of Louboutin heels, just a black pair with the red bottom, and looking at that shoe versus another black heel, there's really not much of a difference. It's still a shoe. You're still going to be able to walk in the shoe regardless. But because this generation, as well as the music that we listen to and what is deemed trendy, says that you have to have red bottoms on your feet, it shows that if I don't have it, I'm either can't afford it, I'm lame, or I'm just not trendy. And that's not necessarily true because, you know, preference is preference. But let's be real. real, the average person cannot just afford some of these high-end items. Now, I'm a YouTuber, I'm young, I make a little bit more money than most of the people my age, but still, I don't go splurge on designer items because not only is it not my thing, but I also feel like putting your money to something that is not much better quality-wise than something else just never adds up to me. I still would get a pair of red bottoms, okay? I still get one, but one rule that I've learned in my life is if you can't buy three, you can't buy one. Meaning if you can't afford 3 bundles, you can't afford to buy 1 bundle. If you can afford 3 Christian Louboutin heels, you cannot afford 1 pair. If you cannot afford 3 BMW i8s, you cannot afford 1. And that's just a rule of thumb for anybody who wants to be financially literate and anybody who just wants to actually be able to save their money and anybody who just wants to have some common sense. I see a lot of designers being thrown into a lot of the music that we listen to, and because again, we're so impressionable and music and influence is driving this generation, it kind of puts it in the back of our head that we're not enough. And I don't like that because in order to be fashionable, you don't have to spend a lot of money. There are outfits that you can get at a thrift store or at Walmart that may look better than a whole Gucci fit, okay? You don't have to splurge out on the most high-end things to say that you can dress, because even some people with some high-end items be looking tacky as ever, like be looking so like, girl, what the hell do you have on? Like, that's not even cute. Like, that joint mismatch. Like, you look like an Easter basket. Like, that shit just, it's just like, you don't always look good in designer items. Now, when it comes to purses, I'm not gonna lie, I have a thing for designer purses. Like, I just like them. And that's just where my money would go. If I had the money to spend, I would just get a purse. And I think those purses usually are differentiating from the next purse, because if you get like a Louis Vuitton bag, that's just a standard bag. You know it's Louis Vuitton. There's nothing else that actually looks like that that isn't considered a knockoff. Now, Lil Baby posted the other day on his Instagram that he bought a purse. Now, he didn't say who it was for, but we're gonna assume that it's for his child's mother, but it could be for his mom, it could be for his lawyer. So the purse was an Hermes bag, and according to rebag.com, which is an app or a website that basically takes gently used soft warm bags and resells them, those bags run like $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and that's for a used one. So you can only imagine how much an actual brand new bag would cost. So I'm assuming he spent between $20,000 to $15,000 on the purse, which for what the purse looks like is honestly stupid. The bag is ugly as fuck. Like, let's just be real. I looked at that purse and I said, I can probably get the same thing at a department store in the mall. The same style of the purse, but because it's Hermes and you spent that much money on it, somehow that's supposed to equate to you being better than the next person, or you being more fashionable than the next person, or you having higher quality than the next person. And that's not necessarily the case. A lot of designer items are not made the best. Some of them are, but a lot of them are actually made just like the next item. So I want people to understand that just because you go and spend $300 on some Gucci slides versus $25 on some Nike slides, there's no way, shape, or form are you better or more fashionable than the next person, because fashion is really subjective. It really comes down to who you are. Granted, we do have styles, we do have trends, we do have things that are in fashion, okay? I'm not negating that, but fashion is really whatever you want to do with it. I just don't like the fact that having a designer item means that you're better than the next person or more fashionable. It's just not true, because there are a lot of designer items that look crazy. I've seen people in designer head to toe, drip down, looking a mess. Like, another thing that I wanted to touch on is Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova has been a catalyst in fast fashion for a lot of young women, because we've let Fashion Nova become the standard of what it means to be fashionable. Fashion Nova does carry a lot of items that are trendy and they are affordable. Like, most people, the average woman, can afford Fashion Nova items. I don't support Fashion Nova just on the strength that I don't think Fashion Nova actually cares about black people or black women. Not saying that they have to, but the fact that they use a lot of black influencers to promote their items and they barely post black influencers on their actual page of millions, to me is just ass backwards, and I don't support that. And they've been called out for that plenty of times. But with Fashion Nova, people have put Fashion Nova on a pedestal, even though it's cheap as hell, and even though you can get all of those items from China. If you look hard enough, if you want a certain item on Fashion Nova, if you look on AliExpress or wherever, I'm sure you can find the same thing, because guess where it's coming from? China. Another thing, Fashion Nova is just a higher price online rainbow. People used to dog girls who had rainbow. Oh, you shop at Rainbow, Rainbow's not cute, or City Trends or things like that. When I went to City Trends has some cute stuff. Rainbow has some cute stuff and it's cheap. I was able to go to City Trends and get me 4 pair of sandals that were all very, very cute for the price of $30. Whereas if I was to get it from Fashion Nova or anywhere else, maybe I would have spent $100 to $150. I just personally feel like people put Fashion Nova up there as if it's just like the standard, but but then you down people or talk shit about people who shop at City Trends or Walmart or Rainbow or those types of stores, when in reality, all of those people are getting their stuff from the same exact place. Where do you think Fashion Nova sources their things from? China. There's no exclusive type of vendor from anywhere that any of these people are doing. And not to knock black business or small business, but many people are going online, finding a vendor, getting all their items from overseas and just selling it at a higher price. And that's, if you want to support that, you can. Me personally, I love to support black business and small business, but if I feel like your prices are just way too high for what you're trying to get me to pay for just so you can make a profit, I'm not supporting that regardless of who you are, because no, okay? Because no. Cut the malarkey. I don't think designer items should be held to that much of a pedestal over other stuff, especially when it's basic items. For the example that I used earlier, a basic white t-shirt from Calvin Klein might cost you between $20 and $50, which is still kind of pricey for a basic white t-shirt. But a Gucci one is gonna cost you like $300 to $500 just for a Gucci one, just for the logo, or just for the fact that it has the tiniest little emblem of Gucci or whatever it may be. A good example of this is like when I was in high school, True Religion and Polo Ralph Lauren was very, very popular where I was at. A lot of people went crazy for True Religion jeans, which were at the time super expensive for no reason. And to be honest, they were low-key kind of ugly. But True Religion was in, and now it's not. You don't see anybody rocking True Religion, but there are people that have True Religion in their closets that spent $100, $200, $300 on a pair of jeans, and now it's not even in fashion. So that's why I never put a price on fashion, because if it looks good and it looks nice, then it's popping. Growing up in high school, people used to always compliment how I dressed because I just had a unique style, and I would get everything from like either thrift stores or like just like warehouse stores like a Gabe's or a Marshall's or things like that, and I would be able to put some outfits together. It's not the price of your outfit, it's does it look good, can you put it together. Overall, I think this generation definitely puts pressure on young people and maybe some older people to actually wear designer when it's not always necessary. Splurge, have your nice things, because guess believe when Chioma graduates next week, I'm definitely buying me a bag because I deserve it. With my money, I'm buying it, I deserve it. I worked hard, I can splurge on myself, but I'm not about to go and spend my last trying to keep up with the Joneses, okay? My bank account and Nicki Minaj's account is not the same thing. For her, like she said, these Chanel bags is a bad habit. For me, these Chanel bags is something I could wish for, okay? I don't have the money to spend on that. But because we praise all these people with so much money and so much fame, followers, and fortune, we feel less of ourselves for not having what they have, when in reality we can't afford it. I've seen girls spend their last in college just to get something nice. I've seen girls say, oh, I would never buy bundles from AliExpress, but I'm gonna go buy bundles from this girl who got her bundles from AliExpress, just because of the name or just because of the person attached to it. And I feel like people need to think a little bit more logically and a little bit more critically, because all this stuff is just a label or a brand or a name attached to it to make you believe that it's better when it may or may not be. And most times it's not. Don't get me wrong. Usually when you spend a little bit more money, you're getting a little bit more quality. And I think when it comes to hair, it's kind of like that. When you spend a little bit more money, usually you're getting better quality hair. But with clothes, fabric that comes from God knows where, fabric, just sewing together some clothes and putting a label on it, how does that make you a better person than the next? It doesn't. And I feel like there's just this attitude like, oh, I'm shitting on these people, I'm shitting on this person because I have this, when in reality you either one, can't dress, two, you're not better quality than me, or three, it just looks ugly in general. And I'm tired of it and I'm sick of it. So my final advice would just be like, wear whatever you want to wear. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to keep up with the next person. And just know that the way how people say that certain items mean more, or having a designer bag or a designer shoe or designer belt makes you better than the next person, it's not true. If someone tries to flame you or grind you up or talk shit about you or clown you or talk shit about you just because you don't have a certain type of item, that says more about them than it does you. If you have to have designer items to make you feel good about yourself, then the quality of you as an individual is trash. And if you think you're better than someone because you drive a certain type of car versus the next person, there's no correlation, sweetheart. You just need to cut the malarkey. So that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. What are your thoughts on my commentary? If you're not following me, definitely check out my Instagram and my Twitter and my Snapchat. Follow me on all my social media networks, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
Alright, my next one is your shoe size don't determine your dick size.
Wait, what's with all these sexual
I had to.
I mean, definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Your